once had caps that were hard and could hold a vial about this size. Now we just have paper to deal with, so we needed something that would fold out into a sturdy stand. We started with some really basic ideas, like a flap that just folded over and was stopped by 2 tabs. That way, the vial would stand up as such. We quickly eliminated ideas like this because there's too much room for error. There's too much building involved, and we rely a lot on the user to know how to fold this and to insert it in the tabs, and it would create some issues. So we needed to be a little bit more efficient with our stand. One of the things we started to do was look at packaging that used paper sort of in a very clever way to achieve things like that. And we became slightly obsessed with this little Ricola box because of the way it closes and opens. So there's this little flap here, and when you close it, it tucks itself into the 2 flaps in the lid, and it actually makes a very satisfying clicking sound. Same thing when you open it. You feel like you really have to tug a little to get it open, and when you close it, you feel like it's secure and your mints aren't going to fall out. So we are using things like this as inspiration for how to get this stand to work. Something that when they unfold the envelope, all they need to do is push this up, and there you have a stand. It needed to be self-explanatory, no instruction needed, just push up the stand, and in goes your vial. So we made a lot of paper models like this to try to get this as close to a sturdy stand as we had at the caps as possible. This is actually quite complex. It doesn't really seem like it, but the way that it's folded, there's 2 layers. So if you can see through, there's 2 layers, which gives you extra stability. So the top is stable and also the bottom's not going to squirm around. And the other thing that this model added was that once put in place, the vial would push those little flaps down, which would lock this shape into place, so that the vial wasn't what was holding it up, it was the paper itself. So in that way, you wouldn't risk the vials falling over and this failing. Where we ended up was this, but actually a bit more streamlined, such that you didn't need to rely on the vial to push those things down. Once you pulled it up, they fell into place and locked it. One of the considerations in going through this whole process, and our engineer is brilliant in doing this, is how to get this, how to achieve this with 1 sheet of paper and know if any just barely little adhesive, so that once these get into the hands of people, it's foolproof. This won't fail. But also on the other end, when these are being assembled, that any adhesive that needs to be added is very minimal to cut back on the labor required to just make a simple folded package.